So by now in lecture, we've been talking about biofilms. Biofilms are like little mini colonies of bacteria that exist on some surface. The surface could be a rock near a pond. It could be the faucet on a sink. It could be the inside of a pipe, or in the case of this video, on the surface of the teeth. Dental hygienists and dentists were the first to observe and report the presence of biofilms. We now know that bacteria like Streptococcus mutans make copious amounts of glycocalyx that they use to stick to the surface of our teeth. Then other bacteria stick to the Streptococcus mutans, and slowly but surely we start making a biofilm. And we're learning more about those biofilms every year. One of the important things to keep in mind is that the bacteria that are part of this biofilm get fed every time we eat or we drink something. They metabolize the nutrients in the food that we consume, and then they excrete acid into their environment, which means that acid winds up on our teeth and it can start to break down the enamel, leading to things like cavities. So this video is supposed to demonstrate how biofilms form on the teeth right after a dental cleaning. This video is by Wen-Yuan Shi, and he is the chair and professor of the section of oral biology at UCLA School of Dentistry, and he's a professor of the Molecular Biology Institute and Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Molecular Genetics at the School of Medicine at UCLA. So he's a pretty smart guy. And in this experiment, he's basically produced an artificial enamel. That's what this gray background is here. And he's collected saliva specimens from a number of students at his university. Then he flows that donated saliva over this artificial enamel for about 9 hours, and he looks to see what happens with the bacterial flora that is part of the saliva. So let me introduce you to what we're looking at. Again, the gray background is the artificial enamel. The black that you see here, if you use your imagination, you can kind of see that those are bacilli-shaped bacteria. Some of them may be the Streptococcus mutans that I mentioned earlier, or they could be other bacteria. But right after a dental cleaning, most bacteria will have been removed, but there'll still be some left over. As I press play, you'll start to see that clumps of bacteria, which will appear kind of as grayish masses, will kind of flow past your screen, so you can kind of see that the saliva is actually flowing. What I want you to do is pay attention to these clumps that are already attached to the enamel, and maybe make a mental note of how long it takes before new clumps start attaching to the enamel. Remember, the first step of biofilm formation is when bacteria stick to a surface, and then they begin to grow. Something else that those bacteria do is they secrete little chemical molecules called inducers, and inducers attract other bacteria to the same surface. This is like a pro-biofilm formation molecule. Do you remember what the communication is called that happens among bacteria when they vote with little chemical molecules? It's called quorum sensing. All right, let's watch the video. This dental cleaning is happening at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's what happens over the next 9 hours. So you can kind of see the clumps of food going past, and it was only, about an hour before new clumps started sticking to the enamel. So now it's been about an hour since the dental cleaning, and we're starting to see little planktonic individual bacteria show up. So now it's been about 4 hours since the dental cleaning, And we're starting to see more of those planktonic bacteria start to swim past. Here they come. So now it's about 7 o'clock in the evening. So 3 hours after our dental cleaning? 8 o'clock in the evening. So this is how much bacterial activity there is after 4 hours. You can see lots of planktonic bacteria now. And you can see that our clumps are getting bigger. 9 o'clock in the evening. It's now 10 o'clock, so this is 6 hours after the dental cleaning. You can see that the enamel surface is pretty much obscured by bacteria at this point. 11 o'clock. And now it's midnight. So the entire surface of the enamel is covered by midnight. What do you think? So now keep in mind, though, this is in the absence of eating and drinking. So presumably when you eat and drink, you might knock some of these bacteria off. This is also without brushing. Certainly when you brush your teeth, you get rid of some of the bacteria that make this biofilm, but clearly not all. What I hope this impresses upon you is the importance of oral care, and it will help you remember that there are microbes in our mouth, and they are growing all the time. Oral care is very, very important.